What's up, family? This is episode 2 of, we are reading Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen, whatever, that Nigel Nguyen, whatever that Korean last name. I think I went to school with a couple of people who had that last name. But we're going to be reading chapter 2. Like I said, this is a really good book. So if you ain't got it, I did get this off the TikTok shop. Really good read so far. We are on chapter 2. Chapter 1 we read last week. The journey to discovering the root cause of suffering is the chapter that we read, and now we are about to read chapter 2, which is the root cause of suffering. So here we go. One who looks around him is intelligent. One who looks within him is wise. Mashana Diguo. I'm not sure how to pronounce whatever that name was, but there we go. But anyway, let's read. We live in a world of thought, not reality. Sydney Banks once said, "Thought is not reality, yet it is." Thought is not a reality, yet it is through thought that our realities are created. Each of us lives through our own perceptions of the world, which are vastly different from the person right next to us. An example of this is that you could be sitting in a coffee shop having a quarter life existential crisis, completely stressed out of your mind about how you have no idea what you're going to do with your life when it seems like everyone else has theirs together. While the person next to you is happily enjoying their freshly brewed drink while peacefully people watching. You are both in the same coffee shop, smelling the same aroma, surrounded by the same strangers, but how the world looks to both of you couldn't be more different. That is true. I have another example. In let's say two girls are going to you know what? Fuck the example. Fuck the example. Cause now I'm doing too much. Fuck that example. We gonna get to the talking later. But anyway, where was I at? Many of us go through the same events or are in the same exact location. Yeah. At the same time, yet are having completely different experiences of the world. Here's another example of how we live in a world of thought and not reality. If you walk up to 100 different people and ask each of them what money means to them, how many different answers do you think you'll get? Close to 100 different answers. That is true. So basically, what I'm interpreting from this is that we all live in the same world, but we all have our own different realities. In the example that I have, let's say me free and freedom. Let's say I'm looking at a dog, but I think that dog is just the beautifulest dog. Oh my God, I love dogs. But Freedom next to me, having a panic attack. See, we're in the same spot, but when she look at that dog, she's having a panic attack. You know what I mean? Because in her past, through her experience, which shaped her life now on how she viewed the world, she got bit by a dog. So she's automatically scared of all dogs. And that's understandable. And me, I probably couldn't understand, well, how could you not like dogs? But I never experienced what she's experienced in her life. She's gotten bit by a dog, which caused her to be scared of dogs. And I don't understand that because I've never been bit by a dog. So our realities when it comes to dogs are totally different. We live in the same place, different realities. Your reality may not work for me. So a lot of times people be trying to tell people how to do things. No, it worked for you in the way that you operate in your life. It may not work for me that way. What works for me may not work for you. but it don't mean it's wrong. What works for you may not work for me. Don't mean you're wrong, you know? So just understand people have their own shit. You don't know what nobody is going through. You don't know what two choices somebody had to choose from. So we just gotta stop the judging. We gotta stop the judging. We gotta stop the judging of just normal people, you know. You get my grip. Anyway, um money is technically the same thing, but it means something different to each person. Money could mean time, freedom, opportunity, security, and peace of mind, or it could mean evil, greed, and the reason why people commit crimes. For now, I'm going to get into which one is right or wrong. Hint, there is no right or wrong answer, but that's for a different chapter. I truly believe that if you actually think, um, let's say someone is in the news and they killed someone, we're automatically going to look at it as they're wrong. But what if that was the best out of two choices that they had to choose from? In their perception, it was the right decision. But from our perception, because we don't know the full story or we don't know what happened, we looking at it because they killed this person, they're wrong. But what if they had to? They had no other fucking choice. That's the thing. That's why you got to shut the fuck up sometimes. Some of us need, even me. Sometimes I speak too soon. I don't even know what the fuck going on. That's why sometimes we just got to shut the fuck up. Another illustration of this concept is as follows. If you survey 100 different people and ask each of them what they think of our current president, how many different answers do you think you'll get? Right. You will get people that say he's the best president ever. You're going to get people to say, oh my God, he's a racist. He's the worst president ever. It's so many different answers. I remember a couple weeks ago, me and my family, we was talking about this shit. It was so many different answers. I could care less about who the president is. It doesn't affect me. I believe it don't affect me. I believe my life is just going to go however I perceive it to go. I'm not worried about who the president. I'm not worried about bombs getting I just, if it happens to me, is the thing that we need to understand is you should only try to control what you can. The stuff that you cannot control, don't put no energy into it. Don't pay it any mind, because it doesn't matter. You have no control over it. Just like life. Like I say all the time, the only control the only power that we really have is our reaction. We can't control anything happen. We can't control life happening, but what we do have control over is our reaction, and our reaction will dictate the experience that we have. Your reaction is the start of what the experiences are going to be like from whatever tried to get you to react, or. Even though it is the same person we're talking about, we will get 100 different answers because most people live in their own thoughts and perceptions of the world, which is true. So, and I need to work on this too. We have to stop trying to force people to believe what we believe. I had that bad when I first started getting into whatever. But you can't force that. That's just going to push people away even more. So understand that people live in different realities. Like you can say, hey, this works. This is how you're supposed to do it. But if they do it that way, it's going to go totally wrong because people see things different. People see things different. I'm looking in this camera. I see something beautiful as fuck. God damn, I wish it wasn't me. Golly, I would do it. But somebody else probably looking at me like, this bitch weird. She looked funny to me. But I see nothing but beauty. I do anything to that girl if she will allow me. I will do anything. But like I said, we all have our own. We live in our own realities, no matter what. You know how some people can be here but not here. Bitch, I'm always here, but I'm always somewhere else. Always. The meaning or thinking we give an event determine the meaning we give an event determines how we ultimately feel about it. That meaning or thinking is the filler well filter, excuse me, I apologize. That meaning or thinking is the filter through which we see life from then on. Because of this, we live through a perception of reality, not in reality itself. Reality is that reality is that the event happened with no meaning, thinking, or interpretation of it. Any meaning or thinking we give the event is on us. That is how our perception of reality is created. This is how our experience of life is created from the inside out. I'm trying to think. Right. Okay. And an example of that is, let's say me and a friend, we're sitting here and at a distance we see two people arguing. My friend might just my friend might see two people just arguing, and it's not harmful. I may be looking at these people arguing and thinking, oh my god, that woman is in danger. Based on my experiences in life, you know, yeah, like I said, based on my experiences in life, that's the thought that I probably would have thought. And based on my friend's experience in life, that's probably what she would have thought. It's just a honest little argument. It's not harmful. They're gonna, but I'm looking at it like, oh my god, somebody better go save that woman because they're arguing and stuff like that. So we see different things based off of our experience and based off how we perceive life. And our experiences in life shape our perception. It's not about the events that happen in our lives, but our interpretation of them, which causes us to feel good or bad about something. This is how people in third world countries can be happier than people in first world countries, and people in first world countries can be more miserable than people in third world countries. Our That's true. Because in them third, like them poor countries and stuff, that's a perfect example. This is how, like, how reality is shaped. Like, we will see on TV that these third world countries or these poor looking countries, the kids, they're having fun, they're enjoying, they got dirty clothes on, they're living in, like, it look like mud houses and things like that. And when we're looking at that, we're looking like, damn, how the fuck can they live like that? They laughing and happy, and we're looking at it like they poor and we feeling bad for them, but they're enjoying what they have. They appreciate the little that they do have. We over here got all the money in the world. We got everything that we want, but we're still miserable. We getting paid good at our job, but we're still miserable. We still feel like we missing out on something. So the way we view the world is definitely very, very important. And like I keep saying, our experiences shape our perception of how we perceive the world. Our feelings do not come from external events, but from our own thinking about the events. Therefore, we can only ever feel what we are thinking. So a lot of times, these thoughts that we be having don't really be our thoughts. You ever you ever talk to somebody and then they make a facial expression and automatically you just think that facial expression is something negative. Oh, they don't like me no more. And let's say it's a romantic relationship. You see a facial expression. Oh, they don't like me no more. They're disgusted with me. Then you start going down this rabbit hole, and based on how some of the people, the looks that some people gave you in the past, it follows you. So if it was painful enough in the past to stick with you, then you're going to automatically, once you see certain facial expressions, you're automatically going to feel it. But it don't mean they're thinking what you thought they're thinking. I need to work on that too. A lot of times I've thought people thought negative things of me and things like that. But what if they're not? The same thought you have, what if they're thinking negative, is equivalent to the same thought. What if they're thinking positive? You choose you choose the negative side of things. You choose that. And like I said, it's based off of the experiences that we've had. Okay. Let's hypothetically say that you really hate your job and it causes you an enormous amount of stress, anxiety, and frustration. It pains you even to set foot in the building where you work. And just thinking about your jobs make you furious. When you're thinking about your job, you're just sitting on a sofa with your family, watching a TV show together. But you are fuming at the thought of your job. Everyone else is having a good time except you. So in that moment, if you ever been in a moment like that, when you're just sitting at the TV or you with your family, y'all watching TV and things like that, but in your mind, you thinking about what's going on at work. You are in a totally different place. Physically, y'all at the same place, but mentally, you're somewhere else. The mental is, to me, the mental is way more important than the physical because, like I always say, focus. With focus brings manifestation. What you focus on will come into manifestation. The more you focus on it, the quicker it will come into fruition. So, it is very important to know, what word am I looking for? It's very important to take care of your mental. Take care of your mental because your mental is a inner reflection, or yeah, inner reflection of your outer reality. What's going on in here? What we see in our outer world, let's say you got a messy house or something like that. Um you got a lot going on in your head. There are some people who's messy, not like dirty messy, but they know where everything at in their mess. And they like it that way, you know? So I don't even know if I made a point there. I sometimes when I get to talking, I forget where I was going. But you know what? I'm gonna work on that. I promise. But I'm gonna finish this. Yeah, except you. At this moment, everyone else in your family is having a different experience of life than you. Even though the same event is happening, just the thought of work created a whole different perception of reality. Even though you're not physically at work, if it were true that external events cause us to feel the way we feel inside, then you should be a happy camper in your living room, watching a funny TV show with your family every single time you do this activity. But that's not the case. Now, you may be saying that you're only feeling this way because an external event, your job, is causing you to feel stressed and anxious. To that, I'll ask the question: is it absolutely true that every single person feels this exact same way about the job they're working right now. Two different people can be doing the same job but will have completely different experiences. It can be the most amazing experience and a dream job for one person, but be another person's worst nightmare and living hell. The only difference between one person and the other is how they think about their job, which determines how they ultimately feel about it. I'm going to read that paragraph one more time because I think this is very very important for people to understand. Okay. So, okay. Two different people can be doing the same job but will have completely different experiences. It can be the most amazing experience and dream job for one person, but be another person's worst nightmare and living hell. The only difference between one person and the other is how they think about their job, which determines how they ultimately feel about it. So the only difference between these two people, the two people, the one who love their job and the one who hate their job, but they're working the same job, the only difference is what's going on in their mind. We're working the same job. I love what I do. You can't stand it. The only difference in this scenario is we're in totally different spaces in our minds. That's the only difference. So the mind is the start of everything. What goes on in here, you will eventually see manifest out here in the physical. And there was something I heard yesterday I was listening to. A guy had a dream or something. He was talking about spiritual and physical. When you are shot in a dream, your spiritual body is shot, then you will wake up in your physical body. You know, you ever get shot or you fall inside of a dream and you wake up like, oh my God, that shit felt real. But when your physical body is shot, then that's when your spiritual body wake up. It's like vice versa. Everything is inside out in this universe. Everything is inside out. So if you get shot in real life, then your spiritual body is going to be like, oh my God. You're that's really the real world. The spiritual world is really the real world. The mind world, that's really who we are. Our spirit bodies is just living in this meat suit. Most people call our bodies a meat suit. See, that's another thing I need y'all to understand. We are spirits having a human experience. You know how in order to go to space, you need a space suit because you probably can't breathe in space and things like that. In order to go deep into the ocean, you need one of them suits so you can breathe underwater, or you need to go get into a submarine. In order to experience this world, this physical world, you need this body. In order to feel the five senses, in order to feel, smell, touch, taste, all of that, you need this body. The only way we can experience the 3D world is through a physical body. This is just a vehicle. Our body is just a vehicle to navigate the 3D realm. That's all it is. That's all it is. I just want y'all to understand that. Um right. Let's return to your original scenario of hypothetically hating your job. Remember how much stress, anxiety, and frustration it causes you when you think about it. Let's do a quick thought experiment about that by answering the question below. Who would you be without the thought that you hated your job? Who would you be without the thought that you hated your job? Take 1 minute to see what comes up for you and don't move on until you do that. Okay. Who would I be? But honestly, I like my job, but let me see the jobs that I hated. There is a job I hated a job. Okay. Who would I be if I didn't have that? I would be me. I would be who I am. You would just be normally you. If you were a naturally happy person, you would just be a happy you. Without that thought of I hate my job, I would just be more authentically myself. That's exactly who you would be if you didn't have that thought, I hate my job. If you change jobs into a job that you actually love, your whole you wouldn't be having the experiences that you're having. You just hate your job. But what if you love that same job that you hate? You would have a totally different experience. You would have a total different experience. Okay. If you don't overthink it and truly let the answers surface from within you without that thought, you will most likely feel happy, peaceful, free, and light. And I didn't even read this yet. And that's you just be more often authentically yourself. You'll be happy. Without our usual thinking about a particular event or thing, our experience of it completely alters. This is how we live in a world of thoughts, not reality, and how our perception of reality is created from the inside out through our own thinking. With this new understanding, you've just uncovered the cause of all our human psychological suffering. The root cause of our suffering is our own thinking, and that is so true. A bitch, I mean, I don't know. It be our own thinking. I didn't got into so many arguments going into a rabbit hole of a thought that the negative thought that came into me, and I just held on to that thought. And when you focus on the thought, so many different things manifest from that one thought. That the unit, like I said, the universe loves you so much that it's going to give you what it give it. And once you think about that negative thought and you focus on that thought, the universe is going to give you more thoughts that resonate with that thought, and that's what's going to put you deeper in the rabbit hole of feeling insecure, and just going into stuff. It just don't serve you at the end of the day. If you have a negative thought and you know how you can be an overthinker, I'm definitely an overthinker. You got to get rid of that thought right away. What if I don't make it? Like, for example, what if I don't make the team? That thought, push it right out. What if I do make the team? It's the same thought. You just chose to go on the positive side instead of the negative side. Understand that. Before you throw this book across the room and light it on fire, I'm not saying that this is all in our heads and isn't real. Our perception of reality is very real. We will feel what we think, and our feelings are real. That is completely undeniable. However, our thinking will look like an inedible, unchangeable reality until we begin seeing how our reality is created. If we know that we can only ever feel what we are thinking, then we can change our feelings by changing our thinking. I used to preach that all the time. If you want to change the way you feel, you got to change the way you think. You got to change the way you see things. Just like money, for example. If you see money as it's the root to all evil, it's evil and this and that, then money just gonna be a negative thing to you. Some people can see money as evil, and some people can see money as, oh, I can make peace. My life is peaceful. I can move how I want to move. It gives me freedom. It depends how you look at things, how you perceive things. Because some people be mad at people, like people be chasing money, and their reason for chasing money, they want financial freedom, and they love the chasing the money. And somebody who say, why would you chase money? Like, you done for chasing money. Y'all seeing totally different things, but we all chasing money. The person that's saying, why would you chase money? You still chasing money because you want it. You still chasing money. In some way, shape, or form, you gonna need some money for something, and you gonna, if you ain't got a job, you gonna either ask for it, you gonna go to a job, you gonna try to make some money, you gonna sell some plasma, you gonna donate some blood. You still chasing that bag. But anyway, let me finish. Um, if we know that we can only, yeah, feelings by changing our thinking. Okay. Thus, we can change our experience of life by knowing that it comes from our own thinking. And if that is true, then we are ever only one thought away from experiencing something different and transforming our entire lives at any moment through a state of no thought. Damn. God, I thought this was gonna be a short chapter. It's long, and the longer I read, I start yawning and shit. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. In short, the moment we stop thinking is when our happiness begins. That's why I go with the flow. That is why I go with the flow. Because it doesn't require a lot of thinking. I don't like to think. I just know good things are going to happen, and I just know that universe, how can I serve you today? If I ask the universe every morning, how can I serve you? And with that, the universe is asking me the same, how can I serve you? And I get served all the fucking time. Everything is just abundant because I see beauty in everything. Anything that happens that throws me off my square, I just look at it instead of being like, "Oh my fucking god, man, get the fuck on, like get out of my." I just look at it as, it's a lesson. It's teaching me something. No matter what, everything you go through is teaching you something. You just gotta find it. You gotta find it. Stop doing that to yourselves. We gotta stop doing that to ourselves. Anyway, let's continue. All right. A young monk and an empty boat. You know what? Let me take these off. A young monk and an empty boat. A Zen story about how thinking is the cause of our own suffering. A long time ago, a young Zen monk lived in a small monastery in a forest near a small lake. A few senior monks occupied the monastery, while the rest were newcomers and still had much to learn. The monks had many obligations in the monastery, but one of the most important ones was their daily routine, where they had to sit down, close their eyes, and meditate in silence for hours at a time. After each meditation, they had to report their progress to their mentor. The young monk had difficulty staying focused during his meditation practice for various reasons, which made him very mad. After after the young monk reported his progress to his mentor, the elder monk asked a simple question with a hidden lesson. Do you know what is really making you angry? The young monks replied, Well, usually as soon as I close my eyes and meditate, someone is moving around and I can't focus. I get agitated and someone is disturbing me even though they know that I'm meditating. How can they not be more considerate? And then when I close my eyes again, they and try to focus, a cat or a small animal might brush past and brush past and disturb me again. By this point, even when the wind blows and the tree branches make noise, I get angry. If that is not enough, the birds keep on chirping and I can't seem to find any peace in this place. I remember when I first started learning to meditate, I had that same issue. I'm like, my mind just went everywhere, but that's the thing. You just gotta control your mind. Your mind is just going. I'm telling you, when you meditate and you are in silence, it's gonna be so many thoughts, so many distractions. And you're gonna be itching somewhere that you never itched before. But that's the thing. That's the practice. You have to learn how to control your mind. You have to learn how to uh ignore the outside noise. You have to learn how to just shit's gonna happen. Nothing you like I said earlier, you can't control shit happen to you. It's your reaction. The animals brushing up against you while you trying to meditate, all that stuff that's making this guy in this book angry because he can't focus on his meditation. See, I always lose my point. But like I was saying, you can't control nothing happen to you. It's your reaction. And you chose the reaction of being angry because you can't focus. You can't focus because you can't control your mind, which is why you're meditating so you can learn to control your mind. When you meditate, your mind and thoughts are going to be everywhere. You just got to bring it back to the focusing on your breath. And to help focus, you can count 1, 2, 3, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhales, something like that. Your mind is definitely going to wander, and a lot of thoughts are going to come into your mind. And some of those thoughts are not your thoughts. Don't believe everything you need. Okay. All right. The older monk simply pointed out to his pupil, I see that you become angrier with each interrupting you encounter. This is exactly the opposite of what the point of your task is when meditating. You should find a way not to get angry with people, animals, or anything around you that disturbs you during your task. After their consultation, the young monk went out of the monastery and looked around to find a place that would be quieter so that he could meditate peacefully. He found such a place at the shore of the lake that is nearby. He brought his mat, sat down, and started meditating. But soon a flock of birds splashed down in the lake near where the monk was meditating. Hearing their noise, the monk opened his eyes to see what was happening. No matter where you go, and this even when it comes to corporate America and going to work, no matter where you go, you're going to find the same problems. Just because you have these problems at work, you're allowing these problems to bother you. You're going to go to another job and have them same problems because it's everywhere. It's how you react to these things. See, in this book, this guy, the monk, went to a more peaceful area so that he can concentrate. And when he went over there, it wasn't so peaceful. He started hearing birds, a flock of birds coming. That's because you have to control this. You can't control the outside world. You cannot control the outside world. The outside world is just going to be worlding. It's just going to be outside worlding. There's nothing you can do about it. But what you can do about it is there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can control about life happening to you. But you know what you can control? Your reaction. It's your reaction. You allowing these things that's just going to automatically happen bother you. There's nothing you can do about it. So you're choosing anger when you can choose something else. Okay? Although the bank of the lake was quieter than the monastery, things would still disturb his peace. And he got angry again. Even though he didn't find the peace he was looking for, he kept returning to the lake. Then one day, the monk saw a boat tied at the end of a small pier. And right then, an idea hit him. Why don't I take the boat Row it down to the middle of the lake and meditate there. In the middle of the lake, there will be nothing to disturb me. He removed he rowed the boat to the middle of the lake and started meditating. And I bet he's going to be disturbed again because it ain't where you at. It's where you at up here, not where you at physically. As he expected, there was nothing in the middle of the lake to disturb him, and he was able to meditate the whole day. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. I thought he was going to be disturbed, but I'm wrong. But anyway, the whole day. At the end of the day, he returned to the monastery. This continued for a few days, and the monk was thrilled that he had finally found a place to meditate in peace. He didn't feel angry and could calmly continue the meditation practice. On the third day, the monk sat in the boat, rowed to the middle of the lake, and started meditating again. A few minutes later, he had heard water splashing and felt the boat was rocking. I guess I was right. I was wrong at the wrong time. I was wrong. I was right at the wrong time. I was right at the wrong time. So it took day 3 for him to be disturbed by something. Damn. He started getting upset that even in the middle of the lake, someone or something was disturbing him. Opening his eyes, he saw a boat heading straight towards him. He shouted, "Steer your boat away, or you will hit my boat." But the other boat kept coming directly at him and was just a few feet away. He yelled again, but nothing changed. And so the incoming boat hit the monk's boat. Now he was furious. He screamed, "Who are you, and why have you hit my boat in the middle of this vast lake?" There was no answer. This made the young monk even angrier. He stood up to see who was in the other boat, and to his surprise, he found no one in the boat. He found no one in the boat. The boat had probably drifted along a breeze and had bumped into the monk's boat. The monk found this the monk found his anger dissipating. It was just an empty boat. There was no one to get angry at. Right. So who the fuck you getting angry at? So that anger, you just put a lot of energy into getting angry for no reason. It's not where you at. It's where you at. At that moment, he remembered his mentor question: "Do you know what is really making you angry?" And then wondered, it's not other people, situations, or circumstances. It's not the empty boat, but my reaction to it that causes my anger. All the people or situations that make me upset and angry are like the empty boat. They don't have the power to make me angry without my own reaction. Your reaction holds all the power. Your reaction holds all the power. I've been saying this for so long. Your reaction holds the power. The monk then rowed the boat back to the shore. He returned to the monastery and started meditating along with the other monks. There there were still noises and disturbances, but the monk treated them as the empty boat and continued meditating peacefully. When the elder monk saw the difference, he said to the young monk, "I see that you have found what is really making you angry, and you have overcome that." Now, I appreciate that chapter, and I think a lot of people needed to hear that. Um, Even me, I needed to hear that because a lot of times I let outside shit dictate how I'ma react, and I react certain ways and things like that when I don't need to do that. It's my reaction that they after. Even when people purposely try to get under your skin, they are hungry for your reaction. That's what they're looking for. You can't give them what they want. Your reaction has all the power. But anyway, I've been recording on my phone and I've been recording for 44 minutes. I'm shocked that I got this much time. I thought it was going to um run out. But this is episode 2 of me reading Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Negan, whatever, however you say his name. Like I said, it's a really good book. It's not it's a pretty thin book, and I think it's helping me so far. Is opening my mind and making me realize some things about myself and about my environments that I might need to work on and stuff like that. Because like I said, when you do meditate, your mind wanders, but it's about you bringing that focus back to your breath. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to Free World TV, and this is Free Mind Book Club. Free Minds Book Club, where we will be reading. If y'all interested in me reading any other books, feel free to put them in the comments or suggest. Uh, but after this book, I do plan on reading another book. I don't know. I'm just gonna be reading this. I found my thing. I found my niche. I found it. I found this is the thing. This is how I'm gonna get my messages across. That the things that I need to say by reading self-help books. So y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. And as I always say, through every struggle a statement is made. It's your girl Free, and I'm out.